Boom! Welcome to the Sebs Show. It's your boy Sebs, and we got your co-host Gib in the house.
What up?
And today we're breaking down UFC Norfolk, guys. Great card in my opinion, headlined by Dustin Poirier and Anthony Pettis, and we actually got Matt Brown and Diego Sanchez as well.
That would be a one to watch.
And yeah, man, it's a great card. I think a lot of other fun fights of the card we're gonna break down. So before we get into this, let's talk a little bit about last week, man. I did pretty good. I went like plus 5 point something, 5.64 units. Wow. On the night, for UFC 217, did it well. I hit the TJ Dillashaw bet. I don't think a lot of people saw that one coming. Dillashaw knocking out Garbrandt. I think the most unexpected thing was the Rose left hook there, and it was devastating.
Well, Rose definitely her striking affected her. More so every time after she landed that left hand, it was ridiculous. And after the second one, it was over.
Yeah, for sure, man. And of course, we can't forget about GSP. GSP did his thing.
What a finish.
Didn't even look all that good, but fuck, he pulled it off still. And something he'll have to adapt to is the middleweight division and his cardio in the middleweight division. But he, in my opinion, he is the greatest of all time.
Absolutely. He moves around with the guy who's really frequent in the sport, and he's keeping up to date with all the best guys right now, right? So,
yeah.
I think him just being able to go in there, win, get the sub too early. Why not? That's a pretty good entrance into the UFC again.
Yeah, why not? After 4 years, a nice comeback. But enough about 217. Let's jump into this card. We got Carl Roberson versus Darren Stewart starting us off at the curtain jerker of the night on the Fight Pass prelims. Carl Robinson's a guy fucked me over before, actually. I took Ryan Spann. Yeah, I took Ryan Spann against him in Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, and he finished him in about 15 seconds with very, very short, quick elbows. In the clinch, he looked great in that fight. He's a former Glory kickboxer, man. This is a guy who knocked out Jerome LeBanner.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Jerome LeBanner, man, and I think he brings a devastating knockout power into the division, especially at middleweight. He was competing at light heavyweight for some time and middleweight, but his last few fights are at light heavyweight. So he has a power for sure. Same with Darren Stewart. Darren Stewart was a smaller light heavyweight, but he was still competing on short notice against Francis Barroso at light heavyweight, and was planning down to go to middleweight. I think this is a tough matchup to pick, actually, just because there's not too much tape on Roberson there. But the little tape I do see, I like the spurts of him. Same with Darren Stewart. Darren Stewart has a tendency to blitz with his chin up, kind of like a Derek Brunson when he's coming in. And I think he gets cracked here, man. I think one of them gets cracked at least, but I think it's going to be Darren Stewart. I think Darren Stewart goes to sleep in the first round by Carl Robertson, and I got the under here, man. I got the under two. They actually set it at 2.5 rounds, which is surprising. I thought they were going to set it at 1.5, but they set it at 2.5 rounds. I put 1.5 units on the under there at minus 134 to win 1.11 units. What are your thoughts on this fight, Gabe?
Well, it's hard to judge guys who have very little fights, right? I mean, they're still kind of new. They haven't been bouncing around from different organization. They've spent, I guess, a small amount of time in amateurs as well, especially seeing Carl Roberson. I mean, KO elbows, submissions. He's very He's very well balanced, and I got to pick those types of guys going up against new players as well. I mean, Darren Stewart does have a loss, but I mean, it's still very early for both of them, and I can see both of them continue going on and getting these wins exact same even after this fight.
Yeah, for sure, man. But
both going to go off in the UFC.
Yeah, I think so, man. Carl Roberson looks like one of those guys that could be a legit prospect. Same with Darren Stewart. We can't count him out. But moving along, we got our second fight of the night. We got Marcel Fortuna taking on Jake Collier. And we'll start with Jake Collier here. Coming off that loss against Devin Clark, he got just out-wrestled for 3 rounds. Really didn't look that good. It has a trouble with the better grapplers. Has a tendency to grapple like he did against Alberto Udo if he thinks he's the better grappler or whatnot. He has a tendency to grapple more or less. He's a good grappler. He was fighting previously at 185 pounds. He was a big middleweight, so he moved up his last fight to light heavyweight. Didn't go as planned. Against a guy like Marcel Fortuna, I'm passing on this fight just because the line isn't that good. Marcel Fortuna is minus, I think, 250 right now, and I can't trust him at minus 250.
Really?
Yeah, he did knock out Anthony Hamilton, but like, who hasn't knocked out Anthony Hamilton, man? You know, and fucking, I actually took Anthony Hamilton in that fight. Anthony Hamilton weighed 55 pounds more than him in that fight.
Well, he only has a loss against Jordan Johnson, and Jordan Johnson's undefeated.
Yeah, Jordan Johnson's fucking legit, man. Jordan Johnson is legit.
Bottom last. So, do you think that maybe going into this fight, he might be ready for high competition, and he might be ready to take out any early offenses that guys tend to go for, especially with the amount of fights that they both have, right?
Yeah, man. Especially Marcel Fortuna being a third-degree black belt. I think if he gets this to the ground, it's actually his world. He's very dangerous on the floor. He has a Von Flue choke.
Baseball bat choke.
A baseball bat choke. If you saw that one too, he's dangerous once it hits the floor. I think he just faced some stiff competition in Jordan Johnson. I think Jordan Johnson's one of actually the elite light heavyweight prospects coming up in the division. He's one of the best wrestlers we've seen in a long time. And he just couldn't deal with his pace. Could he deal with a guy like Jay Collier? I think he could stand with him a little bit on the feet and then bring him down. It's not enough for me to trust him on a bet, but I do like Marcel Fortuna to get this job done via decision, 29-28 decision. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back on that. I think he'll finish Jay Collier in the 3rd round via submission. Yeah,
I'm taking a submission win for actual Marcel Fortuna right now, actually, too.
Yeah. I think he'll sub him out. What do you like about him?
Past competition, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what it is, especially going into these fights early. I think Jake Collier can still pull off a win, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I just think a loss recently kind of puts you back on that track, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Maybe even make the right adjustments to finish people earlier and, maybe take 2 more fights a year as opposed to the fights that you're having now.
And he's only lost to, like, Jordan Johnson and a guy like Jesse Taylor at 185 pounds. And Jesse Taylor's no slouch. You know, he's beat guys like Jordan Powell, David Mitchell, Mike Ortega when he was a little bit younger. Not even the same Mike Ortega I'm thinking of. That's just a fat Mike Ortega. But, yeah, man, I think he gets the job done here against Jay Collier. So, but it's a no bet for me. Is it a play on you for I forgot to ask the first fight. Is it a play on you for DraftKings at all?
Yeah, I got Roberson.
For Roberson on DraftKings, nice. And how about this fight here?
You know what? I think I got Fortuna for that. I already got that down. Again, once I saw the caliber of fighter, I just kind of adjusted to that.
Yeah, 100%. Fortuna is no slouch on the ground, man. And next up is another guy who's no slouch is Sean Strickland taking on Court McGee. And Sean Strickland, as my boy Z put it, is a fucking gamer. This guy comes to play, man. And
this is a good fight to bet on, actually.
Yeah, this is a good fight to bet on. I'm gonna tell you guys straight up. I got 3.5 units on Sean Strickland at -205. I took the starting to go a little bit over my -200 range, hitting -250s and whatnot. If I see the values there, and I see the value in -205 of Sean Strickland, let me tell you why. I think he's gonna keep. The only thing Court McGee really brings is pace, man. He brings a pace that it's hard to keep up with at times, and he does at times have some good takedowns. It's a guy who beat the interim middleweight champion, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's beaten Robert Whitaker before, and he's no joke. I can't take him lightly, but he is. It looks like he's on his way out in his last couple losses with Dominic Steele, or his last couple fights at least with Dominic Steele and Ben Saunders and who else? Who did he face right before that Ben Saunders fight? Let me go check real quick. Or before that, Dominic Ponzinibbio. That was like the beginning of the end too, man. Once Ponzinibbio knocked him out of the first round, it really started like, oh fuck, you know, like
yeah, you don't want to see grappling guys go down like that.
Yeah, exactly, and I think I don't know, against Sean Strickland's long jab, he has an educated, beautiful jab, cardio for days, throws a beautiful 1-2. I wish he had a little bit more output, which might win. Which is Court McGee might win him a round on activity, but I see Sean Strickland when cruising to a decision here, man. If not a 30-27, 29-28 decision here, I think he gets it done. I got 3.5 units on him. I think his boxing and his Muay Thai is just way too much, and if this does hit the ground, I think he gets up rather quickly, man. He knows how to wall walk real good. He gets to the fence pretty quickly, and he wall walks. So, yeah, I got Sean Strickland all day here against Court McGee.
Well, that's actually the best on-paper decision to make. I got Court McGee here because on DraftKings, I kind of ran out of money near the end, so I decided to go for a sleeper. Go for a fight that maybe doesn't go for a pick on a fight that maybe don't make sense to make, but hey, I was able to pick it up, and if this one pays out for me, I mean that's a big that's
a punt,
especially if
that's a nice punt,
which is I think the only way to do this. Maybe force a really quick submission early, roll your dice, go quick.
Yeah, and we've seen Sean Strickland with not the best takedown defense, so it might be a route for Court McGee, but like I said, man, I think the jab's just going to be too much for Court McGee to handle. I think he busts up his face real nice, hits him to the body. I just think that jab's going to be a huge factor, man.
He's got the youth on him, got pretty much everything.
Yeah, pretty much, man. This is a tailor-made matchup for him. I would have actually threw 4 units on him, but the line didn't get that much better, so had to stay with what I had at 3.5. So I got 3.5 units on him. Very confident in that pick. So anything you wanted to add, Gib, or we're cool to move on?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, Court McGee in that fight for a miracle, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. So next up, we got Angela Hill versus Nina Ansaroff, and this is probably the fight of the card.
I really like this fight.
Yeah, this is a underrated fight. A lot of people sleeping on this fight, man. I know Nina Ansaroff, a lot of people think she's not the best. She's dangerous on the floor. She's big for the division, you know, and Angela Hill she comes from Alliance MMA. She's got like that crazy footwork, that neo footwork, and she knows what she's doing striking wise, man. She knows how to turn up the fight and when to turn up the fight and grind out decisions and whatnot. she was rather doing very well in Invicta before she moved up back to the UFC. Face just kind of drawed, and then in her last fight, who'd she fight there?
Andrade. How did you like that fight?
Yeah, that was a good one, man. I didn't.
And that was a bloodfest, I have to admit.
Yeah, man. And then she beat Ashley Yoder in the Tough 25 finale. So I'm actually slightly going with Angela Hill here, just because I don't need an answer if dangerous on the floor, but Angela Hill I think is gonna be too much for her standing up. This is a pass to me. I think it's a little bit too steep for a girl fight. Well, for a girl fight of like me not knowing who the fuck's gonna win, and like there's just too much question marks here for me to even bet this fight. So I didn't play either one. I didn't play either one in DraftKings as well. Yeah, man, but I do got Angela Hill via decision here.
I got Angela Hill on DraftKings actually. I'm looking for a finish. I'm looking for a finish. I want to. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
I think she can deliver on that too. She's kind of due for one at this point. She does tend to drag out decisions and be very selective of how she hits, but I think she takes out early and maybe can avoid going down those long round roads.
Yeah, man, and I can see her like just working out a decision throughout. Just if she stuffs the takedown, she's good, and she'll be able to.
Oh yeah,
I think just like cruise to decision. The only thing you have to worry about, I think, is just the fact of her getting to the floor, because Nia Ansaroff is a beast once it hits the mats, I think. Moving on here, we got the next fight, a fight I'm actually pretty juiced to talk about, man. Fucking getting a lot of heat on Twitter. And we got to get you on Twitter, Gab. We got to get you on Twitter.
All right, we'll work on that.
Yeah, we're gonna set that up after this or something, man. And but we got Super Sage Northcutt fighting Michel Quinones.
You think Sage pulls off his first win back on going on a winning streak or something?
No.
He starts it here?
No, definitely not. Not against Michel Quinones, who's the far superior striker in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree there.
I've seen tape on this guy against Brandon Gertz, who was a seasoned Brandon Gertz at the time too. Just he was throwing spinning back fists to head kicks, man. He looked dangerous, and then he's got some highlight knockouts as well. I think he's a better striker than Sage as well. Sage doesn't tend to. He's explosive and everything, but doesn't move around a lot. And especially when he gets inside the pocket, he doesn't tend to have any head movement or anything. I know I'm talking like what's his name there, Coach Edmond, head movement and everything, but fucking Sage doesn't have too much head movement in there. And yeah, man, I think that's gonna give him a lot of trouble. I think when he comes inside, he's gonna get caught with it too, and then he's gonna be getting kicked like a motherfucker from the outside by Michel Quinones. And it's not like the takedown's not available here. We know how that's gonna play out if he takes him down. So I think the submission's not even like a Michel Quinones could get his. I'm gonna check right now. I believe he doesn't have a sub under his record, but I can check right now. Oh yeah, he does. He has an arm. So man, if this guy pulled off a submission, again, I know it's against Jay Ellis, who's one of the biggest jobbers of all time. He's like fucking. What's Jay Ellis's record? 14-73. He's like just the biggest jobber of all time. Yeah,
at this point,
14-73. Fuck, but he pulled off an armbar, so I know this guy's got a guard game as well if he does get taken down. And something like Sage, he just tends to quit, man. He doesn't want to stay in there. He's not that good on the feet. He got nearly knocked out by fucking Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall dropped him.
Do you think that the karate does help him with timing early on in the fight? He seems to hold his own. He seems to hold his own pretty well in the early rounds of most of his fights. It's as the round kind of winds down, people do start to land shots on him and put him in danger zones. And he's shown that in the danger zones, under a clinch or in a bad scramble, he loses most of those. You know,
and he always goes for stupid scrambles. He always goes for a stupid takedown. Like his IQ's just not there yet, and it's like something he's gonna have to learn over time. But you can't teach him. I don't know, man. I don't know how much longer he's gonna be in the UFC. I think they're paying him like. I know for his. They're paying him 40 or 50, something like that, to show. Just to show. 40 or 50,000. Fucking incredible.
It's more than what most fighters get, though.
Yeah, of course, man.
That's around the top, and that's not saying much, but
yeah, and like he doesn't come as advertised, is what I think. I think he's more of a jobber, and so I don't know how long they're gonna be paying this guy for. I don't know if they're looking for a way out, possibly. I was listening on Half the Battle from my boys Dan Levy and everything. They were saying that he actually wanted to get out. The UFC wanted to cut him after the Enrique Marin fight, but then Mickey Gall happened and whatnot, and now all this, and now he has his next fight. But so they want to see if the hype can continue. But I think the hype's gone, man.
It's like a fast track fight for him at this point.
Yeah, man, and I think Michel Quinones is a bad matchup for him. I think Michel Quinones is a better striker, and he's going to outstrike Sage badly, and he's going to get a TKO in the second round. What do you think?
Well, thing about Quinones is his only real loss was to Jared Gordon. Look at his track record.
Look at
another absolute
fucking monster,
absolutely astounding track record, and there aren't very many of these guys who are advertised like that,
Yeah.
This stuff isn't out there. You really have to go kind of searching deep for it. And I don't know. I think that maybe the UFC isn't promoting certain guys in a way that's fair. I mean, I guess the actual fans of it have to do the digging themselves, right? Because then you know who's good and who's not.
Yeah,
but you also know who's young and who's not, and who has, the fights under their belt to prove it.
And like, I know it talks about like this guy being a model and everything, and like, man, he was just on the MMA Hour talking about how he's gonna be Ivan Drago's son in Creed 2. It's just like, fuck, man. Like how much worse can it get? Like at this point, like I'd watch it though. I'm not gonna lie. I think he'd be an awesome fucking. Yeah. Oh yeah, the last one was good, but I think like if he was Ivan Drago's son, like he just looks like Ivan Drago a little bit. So like, I don't know. That'd be fucking jokes. But yeah, man, I faded Sage hard here. You can't give me plus money to fade Sage and tell me not to. I got plus 150, 2 units, Michel Quinones.
Oh yeah.
Plus 150 to win 3 units, and I took him as well on DraftKings. He was paying 7,700, man.
That was one of my DraftKings picks. So
yeah. So what do you see going on in this fight?
Early stoppage.
I think
he gives him a little too much to handle. I hope his karate set maybe helps him out early, but I think it's going to be a lot of danger, real quick. And if he's not ready to grapple, if he's not ready to sprawl on certain points, he might not be able to go these long distance fights with guys who are deadly, right?
For sure, man. And so we both have Michel Quinones by fucking early stoppage pretty much. I got him in the second round. You got him, I'm guessing, the first?
Yeah.
All right. First. So let's get it. Let's get this money, Gib. Next fight on the docket, we got this is a fight I'm actually looking very much forward to. Tatiana Suarez versus Viviane Pereira. Let me just tell you a quick backstory about Tatiana Suarez. I'm not saying this matters with with her performance at all or anything. It's just the type of girl she is, the type of warrior she is.
Yeah.
This is a girl who was at the number one U.S. She was the number one. I don't know if she was on the Olympic team or something like that, but she was number one wrestler in America for a long time. And she got thyroid cancer, and she got sick, and she lost that the drive of becoming a wrestler or whatnot, and she had to go over some trials and tribulations in her life, man. And I think she's a dangerous wrestler. I know it hasn't been against the best competition and who she's faced in the tough house. Like she's faced like Chelsea Bailey, Kate Jackson, who else has she faced? J.D. Aldridge, and then Amanda Bobby Cooper. Like those aren't like 4 solid wins, I would say, 100%. But a girl who's coming in here 4-0. I know a lot of, and she's green on the feet. She is green on the feet, but she's good enough to set up her takedowns and just muscle her way through, and just like take these girls down. She is so big for a girl at 115 pounds. She's huge for a 115er. I expect her actually to go to 125 very soon. Again, she's facing Vivian Pereira, who I watched live at UFC 206 against Valerie Letourneau. And Gib, you were there, man.
Yeah.
She won a greasy split decision. I can't say it wasn't a good fight by any means. You know what I mean? It was fucking. She had her in the clinch at most times, and then she'd break off and throw these kicks. Like, she's good. She's a seasoned vet, man. She knows what she's doing. At 13-0, she obviously knows what she's doing. She's a well-rounded fighter. But
she definitely knows when she's out striking people, and she knows how to keep the tempo high enough that they can't even go back, right? I mean, they can't even do anything defensively. They're just caught in the pace of it, and she's on cruise control at that point. You know, she can end it whenever she wants.
She's good, man. She's
absolutely dangerous. Now, do you think that she puts Tatiana Suarez into that into that type of game plan, or do you think Tatiana Suarez coming from so much difficulty as of late, or as of recent? You know, do you think she's got a good team and a good mindset to overcome that and maybe deliver this girl first loss? That'd be a huge fight. I mean, someone's always got to go here.
Yeah, someone's always got to go, man. And being that it's fucking, let me just tell you this, man. Tatiana Suarez I know like her takedowns are all that good, and it's against the girls in the tough house, but man, there hasn't been a girl I've seen stop her takedowns and stop her ground and pound. She is so dangerous. She's one of the best wrestlers. I've been waiting since the tough finale to play this girl again. I know how dangerous she is as a wrestler. And at 4-0, I know she's green and she doesn't have much on the feet, where Vivian Pereira might steal around from striking, but as soon as she gets a hold of Vivian Pereira is going to the mats, and she's bringing her to the floor, man, and she's going to put a choke on her, and she's going to submit her, I think, in the second round. I got Tatiana Suarez all day here. I got her in 4-unit parlay with somebody later in the card, and I'm big on Tatiana Suarez, man. How about you?
I got Vivian Pereira. She's just doing really good work on the feet, and I think that's where you have to be effective. Obviously, Joanna was one of the people who switched titles that day, but she proved to be one of the best on the feet strikers, and it shows that that's what you need to hold the belt. And I think Pereira is ready for that, and I think she's going to prove it tonight, on Saturday.
So it looks like we're going head to head in that one. Yeah.
Whether it's by decision, just through lots of stand up, I say she has just enough jiu-jitsu to kind of keep it standing to the feet, where she's effective. I say it goes to either decision, or maybe a late submission. Maybe at round 5. What do you think? Yo. Oh, I can't hear your voice right now. So I guess we'll go into the next fight here. You want to go into the next fight? Yeah, you back? Sorry, guys, a little technical difficulty on the show. Just waiting for Sebs to get back here. Yo, audio back?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Looks like we're good.
All right.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, a little technical difficulty there with the microphone. But, yeah, I know.
Done with the prayer fight, or?
I just want to point out that a lot of people are going to point back to the Jamie.
Here we go. All right. Audio's back. All right. You got it?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, though. But next up, I don't know if you guys heard me. We got John Dodson versus Marlon Moraes here.
I'm really excited for that fight.
Yeah, I'm actually super excited for this fight. Did you happen to watch Marlon on World Series of Fighting at all?
No, I kind of came late to him on this fight as well, but he does have a really extensive background.
Oh, man, he's dangerous. And training with the likes of Edson Barboza, who he's trained with since he was 16 years old. And he has the most dangerous leg kicks you will ever see in this division. I think especially him training with Mark Henry and stuff, man, he's dangerous. He has so much finishes on his record as well. I know John Dodson is a guy who finished the current bantamweight champ, but I don't know, man. I think here he's gonna have some problems with Marlon Moraes. He has problems with inactivity at times. Yep. John Dodson, he doesn't tend to throw anything at times. A lot of times, actually, he doesn't tend to throw for most of the round, and it tends to hurt him. And going against a guy like Marlon Moraes, who's actually very active, and I think is going to hurt the way the movement of John Dodson with the leg kicks 100%. I think his leg kicks are so fucking deadly. Marlon's, like I just said, like I think he's the best leg kicker in the division, 100%. Yeah, bar none.
Really? In the division, it's
there's no one like him. He's the best leg kicker in the division. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like next to even like Edson Barboza, like he's up there in the top leg kickers too. Like this guy's dangerous with like Jose Aldo. He's like one of those like leg kickers. Like he stopped like I think he has one TKO with leg kicks, but like against Josh Rosenthal and whatever his name is, he fucked him up for 5 rounds with leg kicks. And I think here he hurts John Dodson with leg kicks early. hurts John Dodson's movement and actually plants on John Dodson and hits him a couple times. Hopefully, gets him down. If he gets John Dodson down, he's very good on the ground. He's a Colorado made a black belt, and I don't know, man. John Dodson, his past few fights, he just wasn't impressive to me. The Eddie Wineland fight, I know he looked impressive because like Eddie Wineland couldn't hit him, but like what the fuck was John Dodson doing? He wasn't throwing much, you know. He was just getting out the way, and like I praise him for that 100%, Gib. I praise him for that, but like against the John Lineker fight too, he was getting tagged at times, man. He was getting tagged, and I don't know, man. I just see Marlon cruising to a nice 29-28 decision here, so I got 2 units on him at plus. What did I get out of that? Plus 102, I think, to win 2.04 units. So pretty confident in that one as well, man. What do you think, Gib?
Well, I got to go for Dodson on this, and I'm kind of going back on that Lineker fight. You're right. He does get hit a lot. I think he does tend to rely a lot on his athleticism, which gets him around a lot in the ring. And you see this guy doing backflips, ridiculous. Like his balance, his cardio, especially going rounds with a lot of these guys. He makes it up to those 5 rounds, and he's a 5-round fighter, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Personally, and I think that's something that a lot of guys don't understand about guys who are athletic, can make it to the last few rounds. They can lock up decisions pretty quick, and even early stoppages. I mean, this guy went to toe-to-toe with Demetrius Johnson twice, and I think that's pretty good. So I actually got him in this fight, and I think he might maybe surprise us this time, and maybe the win over Eddie Wineland's going to boost him up a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
He's already going to the fight really fresh.
Well, we'll see 100% how he looked against Eddie Wineland. If he makes Marlon Moraes miss like that, I'll be very impressed, and I'll praise him for that for 100%. It deserves praise if he makes Marlon Moraes look like a joke. But yeah, man, I got, like I said, Marlon, you got Dodson. So let's go moving on. We got I think we're entering the main card here with Joe Lauzon and Clay Guida. This is just a veteran matchup, and we know Lauzon is like that type of guy who like comes out firing in the first round, guns blazing. He's always looking for that finish, and he gets the most times. I can't even lie, but against a guy like Clay Guida, who's tough as nails.
Oh yeah,
and has probably some of the best cardio and best wrestling in. Well, I wouldn't say best wrestling in the division, but like some of the, like he's just like a gritty veteran, man, and
great jiu-jitsu guy.
Some of the best like grappling skills on the mat. Just like to take your cardio away, and he's completely like fully energized still, man. The great gas tank he has on him. I just think him against Lauzon's a bad matchup for Lauzon. I was gonna initially bet Guida, but I don't know what could happen. I think Guida's chin is deteriorating, so Lauzon could finish him. But I don't know. I think Lauzon could drop him and get like possibly a 10-8 round even, and then like cruise to decision. So I don't know what's gonna happen in this fight. So for that reason, I passed. I have Guida, I think, on like DraftKings, but I'm not sure, man. But I passed from a betting perspective on either guy. But I did either over. I like the over 2.5 rounds for this at minus 177 to win 1.12 units. 2 units to win 1.12 units. So I do like that over. How about you, Gib?
Well, I got to go with Clay Guida on this one. He's a bit of a fan favorite for me when he took the title from Pettis. That was a great fight. Really showed people what pressure and what lots of good grappling, good wrestling can do against any opponent, right? And we all know how much Anthony Pettis and guys who are like that give people problems. And I think Joe Lauzon is just like very similar to that. He gives a lot of people problems in the stand-up, and he's kind of decent all around. He's that very high-level guy, and I think it's really going to go to a decision though. I can't see it ending too quickly, but I do think Clay Guida wins it if it does end quickly.
Yeah,
he does punch a lot of power in those hands.
Yeah, he does, but fuck, I thought if it ends quickly, it would be Lauzon, but I don't see it ending quickly. I see it going all 3 rounds, and Guida cruising to a decision, man. So next up, we got Rafael Assuncao taking on Matthew Lopez, and I got Rafael Assuncao here, man, all day. Yeah, all day, man. I got 3.5 units on him, parlayed with somebody later in the card, but let me tell you why real quick. Rafael Assuncao is a great counter striker, man. He's dangerous in the pocket, and he might not be the fastest at 135 because he's coming down from 145 or whatever.
He was one of the best featherweights in 2015.
Yeah,
no doubt.
He is dangerous. Oh, he was dangerous, man. Assuncao has been dangerous, and especially even in the bantamweight division.
He took out Marlon Mays, who's fighting tonight.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, exactly. Marlon. He beat Marlon Moraes, who yeah, no worries. But he took out Marlon Moraes. I thought Moraes actually won that fight, but nevertheless, he actually weaseled out the decision. But man, Assuncao's just crisp in the pocket against a guy like Matthew Lopez, who I watched live at 206 get dropped by Mitch Gagnon, man. Complete jobber. And I just think Matthew Lopez definitely has wrestling, but that's like almost he's got submitted by Ronnie Yaya. Just expect one of the best performances from Rafael Assuncao, I think, here. I got Rafael Assuncao all day, man. How about you?
I got Rafael Assuncao.
That's what I want to hear.
Hopefully he makes a good comeback into the division and can maybe negotiate for something later on.
Yeah, 100%, man. That'd be great for him. He's still in the top of the division, so I would love to see him make another run at the title, especially with TJ being the champ now. We can see maybe a possible Rafael Assuncao, TJ Dillashaw round 3. But next up, I think is it Nate the Great? Yep, Nate the Great, Marquardt versus Cesar Mutante Ferreira.
What a fight.
Can you hear me again?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, back in it.
Yeah. Okay. So so Cesar Ferreira being as wild as he used to be, like I think actually it used to help him a little bit more back in the day. I can't even lie. But in the past recent fights, he's looked good, man. Other than the loss to Theodoro, who fights at like his fucking pace, which is horrible. He took out Jack Hermanson, Anthony.
Well, he's a pretty good decision fighter, I think.
Yeah.
He does tend to round guys out to the third round, and a lot of those guys can't compete. This is a guy who can just kind of wipe people out, but he does seem to have problems in a few places as well, right?
Yeah, and one of those problems being his chin. His chin looks like it's deteriorating at some point. Coming off, he's lost knockouts to Sam Alvey, Jorge Masvidal, CB always knocked him out. Elvis Mutapich back in the day, like he's been knocked out several times, man. And he's got a poor chin, man. It looks like, and going against a guy like Nate the Great Marquardt, um, he's dangerous too. Nate the Great. He's coming off 2 losses to Sam Alvey and Vitor Belfort, where his last win was to Tamdan McCoy, where he got one of those vintage Nate the Great knockouts. And I don't know, man. I think he has a chance to knock out Ferreira here. I think the line's way too steep where it is now. It's like at -3 something, almost -350. And I ever so slightly lean with Cesar Ferreira here, man. I like him in this matchup. I think he could take out the gritty veteran in Nate Marquardt, and I see him grinding out not grinding out. I see him actually getting a TKO in the 3rd round or the 2nd round.
Yeah, you think it's just a matter of just being around that younger age, being able to kind of turn it on when you want to, and kind of be able to take care of business a little bit earlier? Or do you think it's that experience where it kind of comes into play a little bit later, and you can kind of devise a bit more of an educated game plan as the fight goes on?
Well, like Caesar's like 32 and like Nate's like 38. So they're both. It's not like they're like he's a
38. It's a pretty big gap.
Oh man. Yeah, that is a big
especially
gap.
I know. Fight experience, and yeah. I think Nate's kind of been built down a bit off of getting hit, right, as well as
100%.
But I don't know. I think it's still kind of up in the air, but I do give Ferreira just creeping in,
Yeah.
Even if it does go to a decision.
Yeah, if it goes to decision, I got him for sure by decision. We saw Nate Marquardt not be able to take out not Cesar for Vitor Belfort, so who knows, man. But I got Cesar Ferreira all day there. Next fight, we got Junior Albini versus Andre Arlovski. And man, it looks like Arlovski coming off. What is he coming off, man? 5 straight fucking losses now. I think 1, 2, 3, yeah, wow. 5 straight losses. Lost to Marcin Tybura, who I thought that was actually going to be an easy fight for Tybura. Got destroyed by Ngannou. Choked out by Burnett. Knocked out by Alistair Overeem. Knocked out by Stipe. And he's just been knocked out several times in his career, man. Like bad too, like the Fedor knockout. Who else not? Bigfoot didn't knock him out. Sergey Karatonov. Like there's just been guys that have really put a beating on his chin over the years. I think he's training at ATT too now at the time, so I don't like him switching camps from Jackson to ATT for like I don't know what's the reason, especially late in his career. But man, I got Junior Albini all day. It's not much I can say. This kid comes from Astra Fight Team, the same team that built up a Darren Till, who's a current welterweight contender. And this kid comes to play one to simply not knock out Timothy Big Dick Johnson, man. That guy is a monster. And Albini did that. He's a big boy. Albini is a big boy. He comes in at 265. He has a lot of knockout power, and he's got a dangerous ground game to put it all together. I think he sleeps. Arlovski, man. I think he puts him to bed real quick. So I got Albini here in the parlay. 3.5 units with him and Assuncao. -107 to win 3.26 units. Parlay I like a lot, actually. Was going to sprinkle a little bit more on Albini, but I gotta see how he tests out, especially against a guy like Arlovski, who made me sweat a little bit against Tybura. So I gotta see how he plays out. But I do favor Albini in this matchup as I threw my money on him. How about you?
Yeah, I say Junior Albini destroys him. I think he's just kind of wearing himself down. He doesn't have to. Arlovski doesn't have to fight anymore. I think he proved a lot about what he can do in the division. I mean, 5 losses in a row is a lot. I mean, obviously it's his choice that he wants to keep going, but I think he's gonna have to stop eventually, right?
Yeah.
It can get dangerous at times, but I don't know. I really hope he maybe does creep out something, or maybe does show a little bit of that old Arlovski. But I mean, how long does that last for? Like 2 or 3 shots in, he kind of starts to fade, right? I mean, this isn't the same Arlovski we were talking about before,
Yeah, man. As soon as he gets hit, he changes. He completely changes. Not the pit bull that he used to be. Coming off 5 losses, I think this has to be the fight that retires him. I think they're trying to build off Albini's name a little bit. I'm gonna look to probably play the prop inside the distance for Albini 1 unit. I might max Albini here, guys. I might actually max him and put 1.5 units on Albini inside the distance to make it a total of 5 units. I think I'm gonna do that actually right after the video here. But yeah, man, I got Albini all day. Like I said, we both do. By vicious knockout, I think.
I would say so.
And
I hope Arlovski can really defend something and at least be able to make it competitive a little bit.
Yeah, well, I hope not. I hope he gets fucking blasted. But let's move on to the co-main event. We got the retirement fight of Matt the Immortal Brown versus Diego. I think his name's the Dream, or the Dream Sanchez now. I think he changed it from Nightmare, but whatever. Nightmare Sanchez will still call him. At this fight's at 170 pounds. Diego used to fight at 145, man. I think
he came in on the very first Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, and won. That's when I was a huge fan of him. I was a huge fan of Diego Sanchez when he won the first Ultimate Fighter. That's when my dad always told me, he was like, "This kid's gonna be something, man." Because just the way he fought, he always brought it. I think his chin has deteriorated. He's another one where his chin's deteriorated as well over the years. I think Matt Brown's has as well, but not as badly. I think Matt Brown has the wrestling in his back pocket. I think he has the harder strikes. I think he's the bigger guy. I think he's the stronger guy, and I think he's going to be able to stop Diego Sanchez here pretty early. I think Diego Sanchez, coming off that Ala Quinta loss, got knocked out pretty badly. And then before that, I think he beat Marcin Held or whatnot. But he hasn't, and then he got knocked out by Joe Lauzon. He hasn't looked all that great, man, and his chin's deteriorating. So I got Matt Brown all day. I think Matt Brown finishes him in his retirement fight and goes out on a victory. Rides into the darkness, or into the light at least, with some glory there. So I got Matt Brown all day, and he completes the Suarez parlay of 4 units for Brown and Suarez, minus 119 to win 3.36 units. So yeah, confident on that parlay. So how about you, Gib? What do you got here?
I got Matt Brown as well, the immortal one. I mean, you can't argue with it here. He's just maybe a little bit fresher, and coming off of Robbie Lawler fights, even the Eric Silva fight was pretty good.
Yeah,
he really showed that he can go rounds with even the fierce guys who are on winning streaks as well,
For sure, man, 100%. And even like this is the same guy who beat Wonder Boy. I know that's a young Wonder Boy, but he beat Steve Wonder Boy Thompson. You know what I mean? Like one does simply not beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Exactly.
More
he is today, at least.
Yeah, exactly. And fucking man, I just think it's gonna be too much for Diego to handle. I think the weight change is stupid for him. Coming up back to 170, I think he's just getting lazy. Dropping down. He was fighting at 145. There's no way a 145er can move up to 170. I know you're all saying McGregor. This isn't fucking McGregor. This is Diego Sanchez, bro. And I don't think this ends well for him. I think I got Matt Brown via second round knockout. How about you?
I gotta agree with you. It's not his weight. If it was in a lighter weight class, Diego Sanchez, if you could make weight, would absolutely destroy. Even at this age, I mean, we saw him go against a lot of guys, just wars, absolute wars. So yeah, I'm sticking with Matt Brown on this.
Yeah, and I did play Matt Brown inside the DraftKings a little bit there, as I did Albini the fight before. But moving on, we got the main event of the evening. We got Dustin Diamond Poirier versus Anthony Showtime Pettis. And man, Pettis coming off that win against Jim Miller. I think that's some of the best Pettis we've seen in a while. If you see him on the countdown,
All right, wait, they can hear you. No, not yet. There we go. It's back on. Oh wait, shit. Oh wait, yeah, it's back.
okay.
All right.
Yeah, sorry for all these technical difficulties, guys. Gotta fix my mic wire for sure. Get a new mic wire. I think that's the problem here. But moving on, we got Dustin Diamond Poirier taking on Anthony Showtime Pettis, man, and fucking this is a fight I'm juiced about. Showtime looked great his last time out against Jim Miller. I think he came back to Anthony Showtime Pettis form, coming up with all those. He was throwing cartwheel kicks in the third round, and his gas tank looked really good. He was keeping distance very well with his kicks. The counter punches were there all day, and we already know he's one of the most dangerous strikers ever. And I'm not taking anything away from Diamond Poirier, who I think is very dangerous inside the pocket. He throws some heavy bombs. We saw him what he did to Eddie Alvarez. We saw what he did to guys like Yancy Medeiros. Sorry guys, I'm just going back now. Like who is that? Bobby Green. The way he mixed up takedowns against Joe Duffy and got the win there. But I think he's a little bit chinny, man. He's got knocked out by McGregor. He's got knocked out by Michael Johnson. I think he's a little bit chinny, and I think he's been in a lot of wars at least. And I don't know, man. I think Pettis is going to be able to snipe him from the outside, get a nice counter going, and finish him in the third or fourth round. I think a fourth round TKO. I got Pettis all day here. Okay. I got 3.5 units on Pettis at minus 120 to win 2.91 units, and I got him on DraftKings as well, man. How about you?
The only thing that confuses me about this fight that actually makes it a little closer is if you look at the Eddie Alvarez fight. I mean, Dustin Poirier's absolute war with him. What do you think about that fight too? Like, do you think that fight should have ended in the way it did?
I thought he should have got the DQ win, 100%.
Yeah. Now, in a fight like that, with Eddie Alvarez doing really well against Anthony Pettis with that press, with that grapple game against the cage, he doesn't like that kind of stuff. He doesn't like guys getting, dragging him into later rounds or being real spark plugs like like RDA back in that fight, right?
Yeah, he definitely doesn't tend to like the wrestling. I see that.
Yeah. It could be razor sharp down the middle of this one. But I do see why you're picking Pettis. He's on his groove, and when he's the top striker, he definitely looks like one. But I mean, him against Max Holloway just didn't look very. And we saw that live as well. That just didn't look very believable.
Yeah, that was at 145. He nearly killed himself making that weight, and then he sprained his hand during the fight. There's just a lot of. I honestly don't credit a lot of his 145 wins and losses at all. I think it was just a bad weight cut, bad decision. I thought he should have stayed at 155 the whole time. I know he didn't, but I think he should have. After the losses to like Alvarez, and I just don't see Poirier with that kind of top game as like an Eddie Alvarez and those Annuals and those guys. We've never seen anybody outstrike Anthony Pettis other than Max Holloway and Edson Barboza.
Yeah.
And Max Holloway is very, very technical striker. I think if he can withdraw the early blitzes from Dustin Poirier, and I think if he can get away from those, because Poirier tends to get a little bit wild with his blitzes and his punches. I think he can snipe a knee up the middle, a front kick right up the middle, a cross, you name it. And I think him being in the southpaw, or Dustin Poirier being in the southpaw stance, and Anthony Pettis being in the orthodox stance, I think
might line up a really nice shot.
Beautiful shot. I think it's going to line up for the body kick, and Pettis understands that distance game very well. He's a very, very technical striker, and I think if he does get taken down, even if he does get taken down, that's not where the fight ends, because he is so active off his back. His bottom game is ridiculous, man. He's got a crazy bottom game. Throws up triangle submissions, arm bars all the time. So I think Poirier is going to be a little bit scared to stay on the bottom with him, and he's going to have to stand with Pettis, and I think Pettis is going to get a fourth-round TKO here.
I got to agree with you on that one, and I'm taking Pettis as well, just by that little bit. But I do think it's going to be a tough fight for him, though.
I think, it's going to be one of the
toughest. I don't see anyone really giving any rounds here. I don't see anyone really giving it.
No, this is going to be a firefight. If the Marlon Moraes the Dodson fight isn't fight of the night, this might be fight of the night. But man, I think that's it. We got just to recap real quick. I got 2 units on Michel Quinones, a plus 150 to win 3 units. 2 units on the over 2.5 rounds. Guida and Lauzon at 177 to win 1.12 units. 3.5 units Pettis at minus 120 to win 2.91 units. 1.5 units Roberson Stewart under 2.5 rounds at minus 134 to win 1.11 units. 4 units Brown and Suarez minus 119 to win 3.36 units. 2 units Marlon Moraes plus 102 to win 2.04 units. 3.5 units Sean Strickland minus 205 to win 1.7 units. And last but not least, 3.5 units Assuncao and Albini minus 107 to win 3.26 units. So I'm pretty confident on all those picks, man, and fucking hope to cash all these bets. Let's get it, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
Let's get it. So hope you guys like this episode. We'll keep bringing you the next one. The next one is UFC Sydney. Great card, I think. Again, we got I got a lot of leans on that card as well. Verdun versus Tabora. I think that's going to be a good card. A very underrated card. But till next time, guys. Peace out, man.
Nope.